Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. I am Beth Golden and I am here on a fabulous hop. Today, the creators and designers that were at Creativation got to attend an event that was hosted by Simon Says Stamps, and it was called Meet Me in the City. At that event, we were able to play with new products, learn new techniques, and we walked away with a wonderful bag of swag. Today, the designers have come together to create a project using several of the items from the bag of swag. So these are the items that I have selected to use. And if you're curious on the other items that we received at Creativation at this event, as well as the Prime event, feel free to browse through my YouTube channel because I made a point to create projects with everything that I got. That was super important to me because not only were these companies extremely generous with us, but it was nice to play with the new products and showcase them. I wish I could throw everything that we got into this project right now, but I just can't do that. There's so much. So I'm focusing on these because I think it's going to make a beautiful project. So I'm going to be using the Deco Foil in Rose Gold. This is from iCraft, and this we got obviously there, as well as these Pink and Mean Rose Gold Glossy Dots. Avery L gave us a really wonderful dye ink pad in black. I absolutely love this ink pad. Gelatos gave us some beautiful new colors. We have green tea, we have a translucent olive, and then we also have black cherry. The two stamp sets that I'm going to be using is this one. I have been dying to use this side stamp right here, as well as one of these little sentiments. I'm going to be using this die set from Honeybee Stamps. And then last but not least, this beautiful stencil from Picket Fences. So to start my project, I need to first get my Deco Foil going. And I am pulling in from my stash some Deco Foil Transfer Gel, as well as two 6x6 sheets of black cardstock and a 5.5 by 11 sheet of white basil paper that I have folded like so to create a card. This is going to be like a gatefold card for my base. The first thing I need to do is I need to lay out my peacock stencil. And to do this, I'm just simply going to place it over my black cardstock like so, and I'm going to use a spatula and lay it down. Once this dries, and I'll know it's dry because it'll be clear, I'll go ahead and run this with my Deco Foil through my heated up laminator. This is one of my very, very favorite techniques to do. So you're just going to apply an even pressure onto your cardstock. Once you're done applying as well, you need to wash your stencil quickly because this paste is permanent and it will harden. One of the things I like doing, why I like doing this on black cardstock, is I can see if I make sure that I get each of the spots that I need to get on my stencil. So I'm just trying to get a fairly even coverage right now, making sure I wipe off my excess into my bottle, my jar, because I think this stuff is like gold. I love it. All right, so that looks like that's a pretty good coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my stencil, and you're going to see how beautifully it kept its shape. Isn't that lovely? So pretty. Okay, so I need to set this aside and let it set up, and I'll know it's dry because it'll all be clear, and then we'll come back and I will have foiled it when you see it next. The next thing we need to do is prepare our little die cut, which is this Hugs, and it is a layering piece. And so you have a base, a middle piece, and then of course the detail top piece. I'm going to be using the black cardstock as the base, but for the detail piece in this piece, I thought it would be fun to create a custom type design or coloring using the gelatos that we received. So I'm going to do one in greens with the greens and one in purple. And this is the green tea, and then this one is the olive. So I'm just going to scribble it on. They're so silky smooth. They're awesome. Make sure I've really got all the spots. Looks like I need to go down a little bit more. And then from here, you can blend it out with your finger, or what I like to do is I like to take a wet paper towel and blend it out. It is water soluble. So I'm actually just going to take my little distress sprayer that's full of water and just fill it up. And just blend it out. And then I'm going to do kind of the same thing with the purple, only with the purple, it's just going to be purple. So this will be for my little Hugs detail. Ooh, that's so pretty. Look how vibrant. Once this dries, I'm going to run it through my Sizzix and get this all cut out. So now we're going to work on our card, the inside, and I'm going to do something that I encourage you never ever to do. And that is I'm going to stamp the inside, but in order to do so, I only want it to fill up this area. And as you can see, it goes over. And since you can see this when you open it, I don't want that. So I'm going to just simply fold it back on itself, place it on the foam mat, and go from there. This is not the ideal situation because it does create a bounce in your stamping, and so you may not get a perfectly even stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to do this really, really carefully. I'm using the Avery Elle dye ink in black. This is a really fantastic dye ink. I love the pad on this as well. It's not as hard as some ink pads, but it's not spongy either. It's super cool. I am stamping on a foam pad because this is a clear, cling foam stamp, which means there's no spring in it. There's no cushioning, and it definitely needs cushioning. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to just eyeball it and hope for the best. And as I'm eyeballing it and hoping for the best, my ink is drying. So I need to definitely lube it up some more. I'm just going to place it about there. Going to apply even and firm pressure. Ideally, I probably should have done this in my stamp platform, but the stamp platform that I have sometimes leaves gaps, and so I didn't want that. It's like little holes and white spots in my image. Perfect. And I'm going to set that aside to clean, and then just above it, I want to stamp my sentiment. I'm just going to use this same Avery L ink again. There we go. So I'm going to clean those, and I'm going to put in the center of these little cute rose gold glossy dots from Pink and Maine. I actually think I need to get a little thing to help me do that. So I got the glossy dots by Pink and Maine laid out. They're rose gold, and I really love how the inside of this card looks. It is classically stunning, but I decided that I wanted to do something more to the panels, to the front of this card. Otherwise, it's going to be my rose gold on black, peacock on white. So I wanted to amp it up a little bit, and let's be real, I can't keep anything plain and simple. So I thought it would be fun to spread some of these gelatos on as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and kind of rub a few spots of my gelatos around, and then I'll wet it down like I did with the piece I'm going to use on the title and go from there. I'm not getting like a ton of coverage because, again, it's going to spread when I wet it down. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just making some random lines, designs, whatever you want to call. Okay, and then I'm just going to wet that. And then I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm just going to start to move it around a little bit. I'm going to start with the purple kind of first to put that around the edges, like so. I'll rub this out. I think what I need to do is I actually need to wet the paper towel like I had said that I needed to do previously. And that side looks a little bit darker, so I'm going to throw in a little bit more purple. Now I'm just going to kind of go around and amp it up, get some color on this. And you don't really want to mix your gelato colors on the tip, so I will go back through and take a paper towel over all of it. Otherwise, you'll get like cross-contamination on your next project. So I'm just going to take and just rub it off like that. Rub it off like that. Rub it off like that. Okay. So this time I'm just going to take my finger through, I think. I kind of like how that spreads a little bit better on this cardstock. All right, and then I'm just going to wet it down a little and kind of dab it just to get up that excess color. And then from here, I'm going to let it dry, and then I am going to ink the edges with that ink pad. This one, because I think it'll be nice to have a finish on it, and don't worry, it's going to get better because I'm going to put the peacock on it. This actually is not going to be very much. The peacock is going to take up the main focal point, but I just didn't want it on that white. I wanted it on some of the colors that I'm using on the inside of it as well. My peacock is dried, and I know that it's ready to be foiled because it is clear. So that's how you know that your paper is ready to be foiled, is when that white gel goes to this clear gloss. Now I am just running it through my laminator. This is a Scotch brand laminator that I bought at Joann's with a 40% off coupon. I know that there are some really beautiful specialized laminators out there by other brands, but I like the Scotch, and the reason is because it's universal. It's cheaper than some of the other ones out there, actually out of most of them out there. And I know that I can find laminating packs or whatever I need for this, not only at my craft store, but also at Staples and even Walmart. Whereas some of the other ones, you're not gonna do that. You have to kind of go on a hunt or special order. So for me, this just makes sense. Regular price on this, I think, is $40. I think I paid $22 for it. So what you wanna do is you want to take your piece of paper you want to have foiled, your image you want to have foiled. You're going to lay your foil over the top like so, shiny face up. Then you're going to take a piece of cardstock, copy paper, and you're just going to layer it between, like a sandwich, between two pieces. And then you just run it through. Now, I like to run it through twice. So I'll go ahead and just get this run through. After you've run it through your laminator, and like I said, I do mine twice, you are going to want to let it cool, and then you peel it back to reveal your beautiful image. Now, you still have this really cool piece that you can also use, and what I'm going to do off screen is I'm going to go ahead and take a background piece of paper, cover it with that foil gel again, the transfer gel, let it set up, and then run this through, and then I'll be left with that beautiful negative image as well. So don't throw away your trash, because it's really treasure. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down and then start to assemble my card. So here I am with the completed card. The card base that I made was 5.5 by 5.5 because the envelopes that I have are 6 by 6. So it was a little bit too large, and in order for me to make it fit, I would have had to trim off some portions of the peacock. What I did was I trimmed the peacock out, making sure I just cut along the outer layer, the outer edge of the peacock. And since this is foiled, it was really easy to follow along when I was cutting it out. Once I did that, I cut the peacock in half and then attached it to my card face. And I also adhered this hugs that I had created out of the white cardstock with the Gelatos and black cardstock and the die cuts. And I'm using it kind of as a hinge to open it up like so. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you head on back over to my blog to see the other piece that I am going to create with this. I love it. And hop through to the other channels. They are wonderful. The event was so much fun, and I just want to thank all the people, the companies that were there that made that possible. It was really wonderful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope that you do so. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Until next time, I'm Bets Golden. Happy crafting.